Hey peeps, it's Dems. Been a while, huh? It's time for another dev vlog. Let's go! Now, I want to start the video stating a couple of things. There's some good and bad news. The good news is, remember when I said I was unemployed last month? Well, it turns out I could finally get a job. Yes! The bad news is I had less time to work on the game. Bummer. Sadly, I still need a day job in my life, and probably it's going to stay that way until I can turn game making into a profitable source of income. You know, the usual indie video game developer shenanigans. So yeah, I still need to get my shit together with a new job and my new schedule and all that. I wish I could have done more during this month, but it was a bit harder to adapt than I thought. However, that doesn't mean I haven't been working on the game. I just don't have as much time to put into it as I did before. Oh, also there's no face cam this time because my old bedroom is super crappy and I don't want crappy backdrops for my camera footage. I'm working on it, so today I'll just be showing you some footage that I recorded while working on things. Hope you understand. Alright, with that being said, let's jump into the devlog. I've been doing a bunch of different things this month, some more interesting than others. I think the most interesting one is what you're seeing on the screen right now. That's right, 3D modeling. Okay, so hear me out. This was my line of thinking. First, I kinda set a challenge for myself. Basically, the first 2 weeks of February, I've been doing nothing else but writing dialogue for the game's script. More on that later. I've been writing at least 1,000 words every day, which is something I've never done before, so that was fun. I actually started back around mid-January and I kept up until around a little bit before mid-February, almost a month, give or take. It was all fine and dandy until I realized two things. One, I can't just show you the script on a devlog, that will just spoil the game's story. And two, it's just boring as fuck. I mean, I've been posting some exchanges between the characters here and there on the game's Discord. Links in the description, by the way, become one of us. But that's just boring for a devlog. It's a video game devlog, not Wattpad. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice if instead of presenting some of the jokes or interesting lines I came up with between the characters in boring ass plain text, I could actually show a short video of the characters interacting on screen? After realizing that, I turned it to 3D modeling. One of the things I want to do with this game is to have 3D characters appear alongside the text box, making different expressions and poses. Kinda like that Harvest Moon one-world game. Remember that low poly airy model I showed for a brief second on the previous devlog? Yeah, well, after looking at it again and much deliberation, I concluded that it just looks like shit, and I should build a new model from scratch. Since there's tons of tutorials on YouTube about modeling anime girls, I figured I could model one of the main girls again. As you can see on the screen, this time I chose Mika, because I thought she was the easiest one to model. Her clothes are simple and she doesn't have any weird geometry going on aside from her prosthetic arm, which I can model later on I think. She also has short hair, so I thought the rigging wouldn't be as complicated. For those wondering, I watched these two tutorials in particular. I loved Dikko's approach to character topology, so I based most of it around what he does on his videos. However, since it's not anime and that's the style I'm going for, the Observatory's videos were a huge help. These guys' approach were very different, so I just mix and match techniques until I got what I wanted. I'll just leave a link in the description for them. By the way, you can probably see there's a couple of weird cuts on the footage, that's just me forgetting to hit record. So yeah, I've been wanting to model another character for quite a while now. It's just that I couldn't muster the energy to do it, because my previous attempt took me a lot of work and in the end I wasn't convinced on how it looked. At that time, I was thinking of going for a low poly, clean pixel art look, kinda like Mega Man Legends. However, I noticed that in my pursuit of that specific style, I got myself into more trouble than it was worth. This time I thought, you know what, screw it. It doesn't have to be low poly specifically, but I do want to keep the pixel art textures because I think that's going to be fun and give a certain look to the game. Besides, I've done some of that already in the past and the results were super promising. I think the game is going to look really nice once I'm done modeling the basic things. I was thinking of doing a complete area first, like a single room of the Nagai Robotics building, which is where the game takes place for the most part. I think that's a nice goal to have for now, so I can start to bring the game's look together. So yeah, I think that's all for modeling for now. I really wanted to make more characters for this devlog, but I just started modeling Mika last week. I think I'm going to get faster from here on. especially because I can reuse her model to do the rest of the girls. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. So going back to the script and the game story, I've written around 25,000 words between the previous devlog and this one. I also got a couple of things done regarding the general plot of the game. You know how sometimes it's easy to write the beginning and the ending to a story, but not the middle part? Well, I'm still struggling in that regard, so I'm trying to figure it out. I just want to go on a tangent for a second. I wanted to mention this app I'm in love with. It's called Notion. Seriously, if you guys are working on any personal projects, check it out. It's been a lifesaver. I spent a bunch of time making sections for plot points, characters, places and timelines, and all that so I could stay more organized and see where I'm going. I tend to forget certain scenes and whether this one character talks about this specific thing or not, or if this particular event happens before or after some other events, so Notion has been super useful when it comes to tracking that sort of thing. Aside from that, I've also done a bunch of pixel art for Mecha and Eri and a tiny little bit of coding. Yeah, I've been avoiding talking about this because it's kind of embarrassing, but I have to since it's also part of this month's devlog. No, I don't know how many of you have noticed yet, but coding is not my best skill. It's actually my weakest. Whenever I want to do something, it's not like I come up with it on the spot and start coding. I'm not at that level yet, unfortunately. Instead, I gotta do a lot of research and watch tons of tutorials, and it's overall slow and cumbersome because I don't want to break anything that I don't know how to fix yet. And there is a particular issue I ran into this time. I was watching Game Dev's Experiments tutorial on how to make a Pokemon type of game in Unity. And by the way, the tutorials are great and super well explained. I recommend them. However, as expected, and this is on me, with each tutorial it gets more and more specific about building a Pokemon clone. Again, which is expected, but I didn't realize it until it was too late, and I kinda botched my code. I broke some things and I don't really know how to fix them except for going back to previous tutorials and try to replicate the code in there. Oops. Hopefully it's not too bad. It only has to do with character movement and interaction, but I haven't touched a single line of code since that happened around mid-February, so I don't know how that's going to go. If anything, it's just annoying, and I couldn't muster up the courage to go back and fix it for this month's devlog. And yes, I know what some of you might be thinking, why didn't you use GitHub or something for version control? And that's totally fair, and also totally my fault. I know how to use GitHub somewhat, but I kind of forgot to set it up at first, and then I was just lazy and never did it afterwards for this project. So I guess I learned that lesson now. Better sooner than later though. I'm glad it happened with something silly like basic character movement and interaction, and not something like the dialogue system or the minigame mechanics or something like that. In the end, I couldn't reach the goals I set for myself on devlog number 0, but that's okay. I'm still learning, and every mistake I make will only help me to get better over time. Right now, I want to finish Mika's model and model the rest of the girls and Yuri. The underlying code for the dialogue system allows for 3D models to be displayed on screen alongside the text box. It just needs some refinement to allow for different characters to appear in different places and to play different animations. Certainly something I want to get done as soon as I can, because the whole thing for me right now is to be able to finish the game's main thing, which is talking to character and watching them interact with each other. Lastly, I've been working on some music, but I haven't finished any of those tracks yet. If you want to hear some of the whips, you can head into my Discord, link is in the description. Wink wink. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. You all take care, and I'll see you next time. Adios.